Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and certainly I want to associate myself with the remarks you've made. Both of us recognize how important AUKUS is, and we're anxious to see it move forward, and certainly there have been some disappointments so far, but that doesn't mean we can't do better in the future, and I think that's the purpose of this hearing, is try to get this thing on track and move it more quickly and more efficiently. As the United States enters into a period of strategic rivalry with China that includes military competition on a scale we haven't seen in generations, China has undertaken a nuclear breakout and fields the world's largest navy and a fully modernized Air Force. To meet this challenge, we must move quickly to expand the resilience and capacity of our defense industrial base. U.S. allies should be full partners in this effort, and the AUKUS partnership is an important first step. The defense trade partnership between Australia, the UK, and the U.S. is meant to bolster collaboration on joint advanced military capabilities. In particular, our goals include increased technology sharing, co-production and co-development, and expedited export licensing processes. Pillar 1 focuses on Australia's acquisition of conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarines. While this is bold and essential, it is also highly contingent upon supply and unlikely to produce increased submarine capability in the Indo-Pacific for a decade. Importantly, many of the capabilities needed to fully implement Pillar 1, including cruise missiles, the boat's combat system, or advanced computing capabilities, will heavily be dependent on Pillar 2. If executed as intended, Pillar 2 offers the potential to produce meaningful results this decade. Pillar 2 can also expand and build resilience across the supply chains and industrial bases, an imperative given the lingering impact of COVID and U.S. limitations exposed by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. However, our export control system remains overly cumbersome and treats our closest allies with proven track records of technology protection as if they were our new or emerging partners. Simply put, Australia and the United Kingdom have legal, regulatory, and technology control regimes that are comparable to those of the United States. Demands from the administration that Australia and UK undertake extensive reform of their domestic political and regulatory system are frankly condescending, and it highlights the need for a clear shift in states' attitude toward defense cooperation with its allies. I fully appreciate that we don't want to open the door, as the chairman said, to using this as a Trojan horse to do some things we don't want to do. I've served on this committee for the 15 years now that I've been in the Senate. I also, at the same time, have served on the Intelligence Committee. And I would like to report to this committee that one of the very first things I noticed between the two committees is that there is a very distinct difference between the way we treat allies in the intelligence field versus how we treat them on other things like export. And I think probably it would behoove state and the Department of Defense to spend a little bit of time with the intelligence community. We share incredibly sensitive and important material with the Five Eyes. And so here, I don't have the concerns that some have. As far as the chairman's concerned on using this as a Trojan horse, that is a legitimate concern, and it certainly deserves attention. But having said that, I think that there may be an overreach there, and I think that we really ought to take a deep breath and sit down and review how we can reconcile how we treat our allies in the intelligence field and make it more compatible with how we treat them in trade and industrial matters. The Department of State, in concert with the Department of Defense and Commerce and other relevant U.S. agencies, should clearly communicate to our AUKUS partners our requirements to ensure robust technology, security, and export control measures, and then adhere to them. In addition, these agencies should work to reduce barriers to defense innovation, cooperation, trade production, and sustainment with the governments and industry partners of the United Kingdom and Australia. If AUKUS realizes its potential, it will set a precedent and incentivize similar agreements with other close U.S. allies. We need to get this right before we add other partners But these agreements are necessary if we are to prevail in the long-term competition with China, Russia, and their partners. If AUKUS fails to achieve its lofty goals, it would not only show us to be an unreliable ally, it would also signal that we are fundamentally unserious about competing with China. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.